Welcome back to the channel Wisdom of Stoicism. Have you ever had someone in your life who just drains you? They always bring drama. They twist your words. They make you feel like you're the crazy one, even when you've done nothing wrong. Maybe it's a coworker who always wants to compete with you. Maybe it's a family member who never supports you but always has something negative to say. Or maybe it's someone close to you, a friend or even a partner, who constantly pushes your buttons and makes you feel small. We all deal with people like that. And the hardest part? Most of the time, talking doesn't help. Explaining yourself doesn't help. Arguing definitely doesn't help. In fact, the more you engage, the worse it gets. But what if there was a smarter way to deal with them? What if, instead of reacting, yelling, or defending yourself, you could protect your peace without even saying a single word? That's exactly what this video is about. Today, we're going to explore 7 of the smartest ways to deal with toxic people using the ancient wisdom of Stoic philosophy. These are powerful, silent strategies that will help you stay calm, stay strong, and rise above the chaos without getting dragged into the mud. No drama, no shouting, no wasted energy. Just simple, clear ways to handle negativity the Stoic way. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to deal with the toxic people in your life without ever saying a word. Let's begin. Number 1. Master the art of the still face. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where someone tried to push your buttons? Maybe they rolled their eyes while you were talking. Maybe they raised their voice hoping you'd explode. Or maybe they just kept testing you over and over, waiting to see when you'd finally break. But what if you didn't? What if, instead of reacting, you stayed calm, expressionless, composed, and centered? What if your face didn't flinch, your eyes didn't shift, your mouth didn't twitch? You just looked at them with complete calm. This is what the Stoics call the power of the still face. It's the art of saying nothing, and yet saying everything. You see, toxic people thrive on reactions. They poke, they prod, they insult. Not because they're right, but because they want control. They want to shake you. And the moment you react with anger, frustration, or even defensiveness, they win. But when you give them a still face, you're giving them nothing to work with. No fuel, no drama, no emotional reward. It's not about being cold or passive. It's about being unshakable. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, and an emperor who dealt with betrayal, war, and constant pressure, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Let that sink in for a second. He didn't say fight everything. He said realize what's truly in your control. And your reaction, your facial expression, your tone, your emotions, those are always within your control. Let's bring this to real life. Say you're at work, and a coworker makes a passive-aggressive comment during a meeting. Everyone glances your way, waiting to see your reaction. In that moment, you have a choice. You can defend yourself and look emotional. Or you can hold your expression steady. You say nothing. You stay relaxed. You look unfazed. In that moment, the power shifts, because your stillness makes them look petty. Their words fall flat. Their trap doesn't work. Or maybe it's a family member who always tries to get under your skin. You know the type. They say something disrespectful, just loud enough for everyone to hear. But instead of biting back, you sip your coffee. You blink. You smile gently and you move on. No words, no battle, just power. That's the magic of the still face. Takes practice. At first, your emotions might want to burst through. But if you breathe, if you pause, if you hold your face with calm control, over time it becomes your default. And when you master it, you'll realize something powerful. You don't need to argue to win. You don't need to speak to be heard. And you don't need to react to show strength. Sometimes the most stoic move is just not reacting at all. That's the first step to dealing with toxic people without saying a single word. Number 2. Walk away with dignity. There comes a moment in life when silence speaks louder than words, and leaving is the strongest statement you'll ever make. You see, toxic people thrive on reaction. They push your buttons, pick little fights, make disrespectful jokes, and wait for you to explode. That's the game they play. But here's the truth, they don't know what to do when you stop playing. Imagine this, you're sitting at a table. Someone you once called a friend throws another passive-aggressive comment your way. You used to respond. You used to defend yourself. You used to walk away feeling drained, questioning yourself, carrying their negativity home with you. But not anymore. This time, you don't say a word. You simply look at them, and then you get up and leave. No drama, no shouting, no need to explain. That is walking away with dignity. That is silent power. You don't need to announce your departure. You don't need to text long messages or demand closure. You don't owe them one last conversation. Sometimes the most powerful response is to simply disappear from the chaos, with your head held high. Because Stoicism teaches us something deeply important. You cannot control what others do, but you can always control how you respond. And when you walk away without saying a word, you're not just avoiding conflict. You're choosing to protect your energy, your peace, your mind. Let's be real. Some people are not interested in understanding you. They don't want growth. They don't want harmony. They want control. And they'll keep poking you until you break. But when you stop reacting, when you remove your presence from their life, you take that control away. It's not weakness. It's wisdom. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live." And living, truly living, means letting go of what hurts you, even when it's familiar, even when it's someone you once loved, even when walking away feels heavy. But I'll tell you something beautiful. The moment you stop chasing people who drain you, the moment you stop explaining yourself to those who never listen, your life begins to bloom. You'll find that your mind is clearer, your heart is lighter, you laugh more, you breathe deeper. You start surrounding yourself with people who respect your silence instead of provoking it. People who don't need to compete with you, only connect with you. So, the next time you find yourself in the presence of someone toxic, someone who doesn't deserve your time, your spirit, your light, remember this, you don't need to fight. You don't need to prove a point. You don't even need to speak. Just walk away quietly, calmly, completely. And when they look around and realize you're gone, let that silence echo, because your peace is worth more than their chaos. Number 3, outclass them with your actions. Let's talk about something very powerful, outclassing toxic people with your actions. This isn't about fighting back with words or getting into arguments. It's about showing, not telling. It's about winning quietly, without drama or noise. Picture this. You have a toxic coworker who always tries to pull you down. They spread rumors, make snide comments, and try to take credit for your work. In the past, you might have tried to argue or defend yourself. But did that really help? Usually, it just makes things worse. You get caught up in the drama, and their negativity drains your energy. Now, imagine a different way. Instead of reacting, you focus on your work. You do your job with excellence. You stay calm, professional, and consistent. You become the person who gets things done not by talking about it, but by actually doing it. This is what the Stoics teach us. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, said, "Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it." That means your best response to toxic behavior is to live in a way that speaks for itself. Let your success and character do the talking. When you outclass toxic people through your actions, you show something they cannot take away, your dignity and your worth. You refuse to be dragged down to their level. You become a living example of strength and resilience. And here's the thing, toxic people hate this. They want to see you upset, angry, or stressed. When you stay calm and keep succeeding, it frustrates them. They lose their power over you. Their attempts to pull you down backfire because you refuse to fall. Think about athletes. When they face criticism or trash talk, the best way they respond is by performing better. They don't argue with the haters, they win on the field. You can do the same in your life. Also, focusing on your own growth has a bonus. It shifts your mind away from negativity. Instead of wasting energy on toxic people, you invest it in yourself. You build skills, improve your mindset, and create new opportunities. This is not just a way to handle toxic people. It's a way to improve your entire life. Remember, outclassing is not about being better than others in a boastful way. It's about being the best version of yourself. It's about living with integrity, kindness, and focus, even when others try to bring chaos. Now, you might wonder, what if they keep trying to sabotage me? The answer is simple. Keep going. Keep showing up with your best effort. Success is the ultimate form of resistance. When you refuse to fight fire with fire and instead light your own path, you become unstoppable. And don't forget, your actions inspire others. People notice those who stay calm under pressure and handle challenges with grace. You might not see it immediately, but your behavior sets a powerful example for friends, family, and coworkers. So next time you face toxicity, ask yourself, how can I outclass this situation with my actions? Maybe it's by finishing a project early, by being kinder to others, or by staying patient when things get tough. Small, consistent actions add up. In the end, the smartest way to deal with toxic people is not by words or fights, but by becoming someone they can't touch. Your actions become your silent strength. They speak louder than any argument ever could. Number 4. The power of indifference. Become emotionally untouchable. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to get under your skin no matter what you do? Maybe it's a coworker who always finds a way to criticize you, or a family member who throws subtle insults during gatherings, or even a friend who constantly drains your energy with their negativity. You try to respond, to explain, or to defend yourself, but nothing seems to work. In fact, the more you react, the more they push your buttons. This is where the power of indifference comes in. A tool so powerful it can change how you experience toxic people forever. Indifference doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you ignore problems or pretend things are okay when they're not. Instead, indifference means that you choose not to let the toxic person's words or actions affect your emotions. You become emotionally untouchable. Imagine this. Someone tries to provoke you with an insult. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, you simply stay calm. You don't give them the emotional reaction they're looking for. You stay steady, like a calm lake, undisturbed by the storm around it. That's indifference. This idea is not new. In fact, it's at the heart of Stoic philosophy. The ancient Stoics taught that the only things truly within our control are our own thoughts and reactions. Everything else, other people's opinions, insults, or actions, is outside our control. So why waste energy on things you cannot change? Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, said something simple but powerful. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. What this means is much of the pain and anger we feel comes from how we choose to react in our minds. The words of a toxic person only hurt if we let them. If we decide not to let those words sink in, they lose their power over us. When you practice emotional indifference, you are not giving in to the toxic person. Instead, you are taking your power back. You are saying, "You don't get to control my feelings." Now, this takes practice. It's not easy to stay calm when someone is pushing your buttons. But here's the secret. Every time you don't react, every time you choose silence over anger, you grow stronger inside. You build a shield around your emotions, one that no toxic person can break through. Think of it like this. Toxic people feed off your emotional reactions. Your anger, frustration, or hurt is like fuel for their fire. When you refuse to react, you starve the fire. The less emotional fuel you give, the weaker their power over you becomes. This doesn't mean you have to tolerate bad behavior or stay in harmful situations forever. But it does mean that, in many moments, your best response is to simply not engage emotionally. For example, imagine a toxic coworker who always makes snide remarks. You could respond with a sharp comeback, but that often just escalates the situation. Or you could calmly ignore the remark, focus on your work, and not let their words affect your mood. Over time, they will likely lose interest because you're not giving them the reaction they crave. This approach works not only at work but in family situations, social groups, and even online. When you choose indifference, you become like a rock in a storm. The storm rages, but you don't move. Another important part of this is understanding that emotional indifference doesn't mean you bottle things up or pretend everything is fine. It means you recognize what you can control, your own emotions, and what you cannot, the actions and words of others. By focusing on what you can control, you protect your peace of mind. You keep your energy for the people and things that truly matter. Remember, the goal is not to be cold or distant. It's to be emotionally free. To be free from the chains of other people's toxicity. So next time someone tries to drag you into drama or negativity, try this. Pause. Take a deep breath. Choose not to react emotionally. Practice indifference. It may feel strange at first, but with time, you'll notice something incredible. The toxic person's power over you begins to fade. Your peace grows stronger, and your life becomes lighter. This is the Stoic way. Calm, strong, and untouchable, without ever saying a word. Number 5. Use silence as a mirror. Have you ever noticed how sometimes, when someone says something hurtful or tries to provoke you, your reaction can actually give them more power? The words you don't say, the silence you keep, can be much stronger than any argument or defense. This is the idea of using silence as a mirror. It sounds simple, but it's one of the smartest and most powerful ways to deal with toxic people. When you don't react right away, when you choose not to defend yourself or explain, you give their words a chance to bounce back on them. It's like holding up a mirror to their behavior, and suddenly, their true colors are reflected back clearly, without any filter. Think about it. When a toxic person tries to insult or accuse you, they often expect a response. They want to see you angry, upset, or defensive because that reaction feeds their control over you. But when you say nothing, when you just stay calm and quiet, you take away their fuel. Without your emotional reaction, their attack loses meaning. Their words start to sound empty or even ridiculous. There's a famous Stoic practice behind this. The ancient Stoics believed that silence is not weakness. It is a form of strength and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and a Roman emperor, said that the best revenge is to be unlike the person who harmed you. Silence helps you do exactly that. It lets you stay above the noise, above the chaos, and above the toxicity. Silence is also a kind of pause. It gives you space to breathe, to think, and to choose your next move carefully. Instead of reacting out of anger or hurt, silence helps you stay grounded. It keeps your mind clear and your emotions calm. This calmness is a secret weapon. Toxic people don't want you to have it because it breaks their power. When you stay silent, the toxic person might try harder to get a reaction. They might repeat themselves, raise their voice, or even confuse their own words. And here's where the mirror effect becomes most obvious. Their repeated attempts show their desperation and weakness. Without your response, their true intentions become clearer not only to you but to anyone else who might be watching. The power of silence also comes from the fact that it forces toxic people to confront their own behavior. When they speak into the silence, they are left only with their own thoughts and words. It's like they are talking to themselves. And sometimes that is when they realize the absurdity of their actions, even if they don't admit it out loud. You might wonder, isn't it better to stand up for myself and speak out? Sometimes yes, but often no. Speaking up can give toxic people a platform to argue or manipulate further. Silence, on the other hand, protects you. It keeps your energy safe. It doesn't allow their toxicity to enter your mind or heart. In real life, this means that when someone tries to bait you with criticism or drama, instead of snapping back, you simply take a breath and say nothing. You don't have to justify yourself or explain your actions. Your silence is louder than words. It says you won't play their game. It says you are in control. And here's the beautiful part. This kind of silence is contagious. When others see you remain calm and unshaken, they respect you more. They might even distance themselves from the toxic person because they realize you won't engage in the negativity. So the next time you face a toxic person trying to drag you into an argument, remember this: your silence is a mirror. It reflects their behavior back on them, protects your peace, and it shows the world your strength. Use silence wisely. Let it be your calm shield in the storm, because sometimes the best response is no response at all. Number 6. Maintain inner journaling, not outer confrontation. When dealing with toxic people, one of the smartest things you can do, without saying a single word, is to turn inward instead of outward. Instead of reacting immediately or trying to argue your point, the Stoics teach us to reflect quietly within ourselves. This practice of inner journaling helps you process emotions and understand situations deeply, without getting dragged into unnecessary conflict. Imagine this. You've just had a frustrating conversation with someone who always seems to bring negativity. Your first instinct might be to defend yourself, to explain your side, or even to fight back. But what if, instead, you simply took a moment to write down what happened? What if you wrote about how it made you feel, what you wished you had said, or maybe what you're afraid to say? Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors, kept a personal journal called Meditations. But here's the thing, it wasn't meant for anyone else to read. It was his private space to make sense of the chaos around him, to remind himself what mattered, and to stay grounded no matter how toxic or stressful his environment became. When you keep your own journal, you create a kind of emotional and mental safe space. You get to explore your feelings honestly without the fear of judgment or backlash. You don't have to worry about saying the wrong thing or escalating a situation. Instead, you get to understand yourself better, what triggers your anger, what challenges your peace, and what you can control. This simple habit of journaling helps you pause. And in that pause, you find power. You realize that the toxic person's words or actions don't have to define your day, your mood, or your life. When you write down your thoughts, you see clearly what's worth your energy, and what's just noise you can let go of. The beauty of journaling is that it also strengthens your boundaries. When you regularly check in with yourself through writing, you become more aware of what behavior you will accept and what you won't. You learn to protect your peace quietly, without needing to shout it out loud. And here's something many people don't realize. Journaling can even reveal patterns. You might notice that certain people or situations consistently bring you stress or sadness. Recognizing these patterns is the first step to making smarter choices, like spending less time around those toxic influences or changing how you respond to them. You don't have to be a great writer. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just about getting your thoughts and feelings out of your head and onto paper or a screen. It's a private conversation with yourself, one that helps you build emotional strength and resilience. In today's fast-paced world, we often rush to react. We type angry messages, reply immediately, or confront people in the heat of the moment. But the Stoics remind us that true strength lies in self-control. By writing first and reacting later, or maybe not at all, you reclaim your power. So the next time you encounter a toxic person or a difficult situation, try this. Close your mouth, open your journal, and write. Write about the situation. Write about your feelings. Write about your goals for how you want to respond, or if you even want to respond. Over time, this practice can change everything. It's like building an emotional fortress inside yourself that no toxic person can breach. Your silence becomes not a sign of weakness, but a sign of wisdom. Remember, sometimes the best answer is not an answer at all. It's reflection, it's patience, it's inner strength. And in this silence, through the simple act of journaling, you grow into your most powerful self, unshaken, calm, and free. Number 7. Practice the exit of the mind. Sometimes, dealing with toxic people feels impossible. You might be stuck with them at work, in your family, or even in public spaces where you can't just walk away. The smart Stoic way is to realize that while you might not be able to leave the situation physically, you always have control over your mind. This is what we call the exit of the mind. Imagine this. You're sitting in a room filled with negativity. Someone is attacking you with harsh words, or maybe they're just being passive-aggressive, trying to get under your skin. Instead of reacting, you do something powerful. You take your mind out of that toxic environment. You mentally step away. You go inside your own calm, peaceful place. This inner retreat is like having a secret room inside your mind. No matter how loud, mean, or chaotic things get around you, this room is quiet, safe, and yours alone. It's a place where no toxic word or action can reach you. The Stoics called this your inner citadel, a fortress of calm and strength. Why is this so powerful? because toxic people live for reactions. They want to see you upset, angry, or defensive. When you don't give them that, when your mind is somewhere else, they lose their power. It's like they're shouting at an empty room. They can't hurt you if your mind isn't there. Now, you might be wondering, how do I do this? How do I leave a toxic situation without physically walking away? It starts with simple mental techniques. One way is to focus on your breathing. Take slow, deep breaths. Pay attention only to the air going in and out. This helps calm your mind and makes it harder for negative words to affect you. Another way is to focus on a mental image or memory that brings you peace. Maybe it's a quiet beach, a favorite place from your childhood, or a moment when you felt truly happy. Hold on to that picture and mentally place yourself there. Even if your body is stuck in a toxic place, your mind is free. You can also repeat a calming phrase silently to yourself. Something like, "I am calm. I am in control." Or use a short Stoic quote. Like Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This reminds you that your thoughts are your power. Over time, practicing this mental exit becomes easier. The more you do it, the stronger your inner citadel gets. Eventually, toxic people won't be able to shake you no matter what they say or do. This doesn't mean you ignore problems or pretend everything is fine. It means you choose your battles wisely. You don't waste your energy on anger or frustration. Instead, you protect your mind and your peace. That's real strength. Think about it like this. If you're in a noisy, crowded place, you might put on headphones to listen to music or a podcast. The noise around you is still there, but you're focused on something else. The exit of the mind is like putting on those mental headphones. For viewers in the US, this strategy is especially important. Life can be stressful, fast-paced, and full of conflicts. Whether it's at work, on social media, or in your personal life, toxic people are everywhere. You can't always avoid them, but you can control your response. Practicing the exit of the mind helps you stay grounded. It protects your mental health and reduces stress. And when you practice it regularly, you'll notice something amazing. Toxic people lose their grip on you. You stop feeling drained after encounters. Instead, you feel calm, strong, and clear-headed. This is the smart way to deal with toxicity without saying a word. You don't engage. You don't react. You simply exit your mind and reclaim your peace. So next time you face someone toxic, try this. Take a deep breath. Picture your inner citadel. Say a calm phrase in your head, and watch how your silence becomes your strength. Remember, your mind is your most valuable space. Protect it, guard it, and never let toxic people take it away from you. Dealing with toxic people is one of the hardest challenges we face in life. But the smartest way is not to fight fire with fire. It's to stay calm, stay silent, and protect your peace without wasting your energy on words that won't change anything. When you don't react, you take away their power over you. That silence becomes your strength. Remember, you don't have to prove yourself or explain your choices to anyone. The peace you build inside is worth more than any argument or confrontation. By walking away quietly, focusing on your own growth, and choosing to stay emotionally strong, you show real power. Real power is calm. Real power is dignity. So next time you face a toxic person, don't rush to respond. Take a deep breath, keep your silence, and let your actions and peace speak for you. This is how you win without saying a word. This is how you live a stronger, happier life. You deserve that kind of peace and that kind of power. Now that you know the smartest ways to handle toxic people without saying a word, it's time to take action in your own life. Remember, true power is staying calm, choosing silence, and protecting your peace. If this video helped you see things differently, please hit the like button. It really supports the channel and helps us reach more people who need this message. I'd love to hear from you. What's one step you're going to take today to protect your peace? Drop a comment below and share your story. Your experience might inspire someone else going through the same thing. And if you want more wisdom on handling life's challenges with strength and calm, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Thank you for watching. Stay strong, stay silent when it counts, and I'll see you in the next one.